Okay, happy Monday, everyone. We're here with another New York Times Daily Crossword Solve. This is Monday, June 16th, 2025, and today's puzzle is constructed by Jill Rafaloff and Michelle Sontarp. I like early week collaboration puzzles. You often get sort of well-balanced cluing and fill. So I'll try and do this with a sort of a medium level explanation, perhaps. We'll see how that goes. Right, let's get going. A 3-player trick-taking game. Oh, I should know this. 3 players. I should know this. I'm gonna kick myself when I get this. Okay. Supermarket tabloids informally. Rags. Sometimes those sort of like the National Enquirer and other magazines like that are called rags. I'm gonna try that. Walkways, aisles, or corridors, or paths, maybe. Let's try paths. Difficult air to see through. Is this gonna be like smog, maybe? A dog biter. Dog biter. Not sure. Greek theater. Is there a particular name of a theater that would look like amphitheater would have been what I would have been after here, but there are other kinds of theaters. It's also possible there's a pun here that I'm not seeing. Pitcher stats, we usually want ERAs here, earned run averages. There are many other stats, but excuse me, this one shows up in the crossword a lot. Let's see if these crosses actually work. Thar she blows. Okay, so it's not smog, but haze we want here. Thar she blows, it's sort of stereotypical mariner kind of phrase. I mean, it's not always pirates. It's often associated with like whaling and so on, Moby Dick. What would this be? Sing-along activity at a bar is probably going to be karaoke. Colorful shrubs in the genus Rhododendron. I didn't know that they were in the genus Rhododendron, but the only flower I know with a Z in it is azalea. So I think that's what that's going to be. This doesn't look terribly familiar, but let's see. In an irritable mood, it's probably testy. Scat. You know, I probably know this by another name. I'm going to look it up afterwards and see. Voice below soprano is alto in the sort of standard choral configuration, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. What are the downs here? Blank stadium, former DC sports venue, no clue. Boxer who stung like a bee is Muhammad Ali. Outset, from the get-go. If you say from the outset or from the get-go, those are usually synonymous. Lucifer. Satan, that's another word for the devil. Dog biter, a flea. I should have gotten that. Short stiletto shoe. Kitten heel, I think, is a type of a shoe or a heel. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. RFK Stadium. Sure, why not? Before poetically, the poetic forms of these words, the sort of abbreviated or contracted forms, often show up in crosswords. This one, air, is before. Setting for make way for ducklings. A pond would make sense, though I don't know this particular, I'm guessing, children's story. Sticky stuff could be adhesive. Oops. And this looks like garden. Locale for a person with a green thumb. That sounds right. Greek theater. Could be an Odeon, after which the Cineplex Odeon is named. Groundbreaking invention for ancient farmers. Har har, a hoe. And SNL, longtime sketch comedy show and brief, Saturday Night Live. So that all checks out. Odeon looks right there. Like most first-year college students, mostly teenage. Black Friday or Cyber Monday event. They would have sales on those days. Rapper blank Nas X. That's Lil Nas X. UFO crew are going to be ETs. Extraterrestrials might crew an unidentified flying object. Finger, or what a finger dials on a phone, is a digit. So you can call a finger a digit. All of your fingers and your thumb are all digits. And a digit, like a numeral on a phone, you might dial. That's this. Slanted edges as on mirrors. These are called bevels. Another more modern usage of them is the sort of the curved edge of a cell phone screen. It's also a bevel. And go to this other theme clue here. NSYNC bandmate of Justin Timberlake. I probably should know this. Joey something, right? People are going to get upset that I didn't know that. Letters before a criminal's alias. Alias is an alter ego or another name, and you could put AKA, also known as, a person also known as their alias. Bird whose name sounds like a letter of the alphabet. This is a J, like a blue J, and then affirmative is yes. Oh, what the heck was this guy's name? Not working as a police officer. If a police officer's not working, they're off duty. Skilled. Could be a number of things here. And what about this? Pack down. To tamp down sometimes is, yeah. So vaccine approving org is going to be the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the United States. A floor model is a demo model usually here. So I think tamp is right. And then this looks like Joey Fatone, maybe. Skilled is going to be adept. Oops. Yeah, Joey Fatone. Okay, that looks right. Yiddish laments. You can say oi, like oi vey, that kind of thing. It could be oi or it could be oy. Looks like oy here. Oys. And then this looks like what a first crush might be dismissed as. Puppy love, you might say, if a parent is trying to say, oh, it's not a big deal, you know, it's just puppy love. A bread purchase, you usually purchase bread in loaves. So a loaf, one singular bread purchase is a loaf. Slugger Sammy Sosa is a famous baseball player with a very high slugging percentage. He held for some time the single season record for home runs in a season. Who? Is it Aaron Judge now that has the record? I don't know. Blank buddy, a bosom buddy, you might say, of someone who with whom you're very close. Yahoo alternative, back in the old internet days. AOL, America Online, was a service provider, internet service provider. Lower one's estimation of is to devalue. And what about this? A spot that may be affected by a Charlie horse is your calf muscle. Kind of can be a sports injury. But you can get it from other things as well, for sure. Your calf muscle. Okay, let's go back to this area here. Author Louisa May Alcott, who I believe wrote Little Women. Styled after, a la, you could say. This is a, a la Picasso or something like that if you're painting in the style of somebody else or so on. Like cursive handwriting typically is loopy. With cursive handwriting, the idea is that you take your pen off the page as little as possible or almost not at all. And in order to do that, there's a lot of loops involved. Parking place, a lot is a place you might park your car. Cash dispensers or ATMs, automated telling machines, automated teller machines, it must be. Put together as a scrapbook, you could compile things into a scrapbook. A treat on a stick that you lick, a popsicle. That's a fun way of cluing that. A bandit at sea, a pirate, of course, are people who loot and raid from their ships. Some bygone theaters. Don't know. Half blank coffee order. You could order a half caffeinated coffee. Bronze statue in Rockefeller Center. Atlas, I think. I have a vague memory of a bronze, Atlas, a famously mythological figure who supports the weight of the world, carries the world on his shoulder. And I think that's what I remember seeing in Rockefeller Center. High-end German camera brand, no clue. What about this long one here? Movie marketed toward a primarily female audience informally. This is a chick flick. Revolutionary Guevara is a Che Guevara, the South and Central American revolutionary figure. 2015 Adele hit that won 3 Grammys. 3 Grammys, really? Hello, it was called. And every time I hear the title, I don't think of Adele's Hello, but actually Lionel Richie's Hello, which I know primarily from the old MTV show Pop-Up Video, which had the pop-up video had like music videos with like little pop-up trivia facts about the song or about the video, and I remember Lionel Richie's Hello being one of the ones that was particularly memorable from that. Anyway, no longer cool way to say cool. I think they're looking for hep here, which was a cool way to say cool back in the 70s, I want to say. Swords whose points were once dipped in dye before a duel. So they're looking at épées, which are used often in fencing, and the dye would be a quick way to check whether a touch was actually made on your opponent. Now, of course, they have sensors on their suits to do that. Some bygone theaters are KOs. I don't know what that is. Adolescent woe. Acne is something that plagues a lot of teenage folks, youth. First channel to offer 24-hour reporting. CNN, I'm guessing. That makes sense. News is the main thing that or news channels would offer 24-hour reporting. A beer barrel is called a keg, or can be called a keg. Squealed as an informant, an informal way of saying, and the clue is already informal in the sense that it's using squealed as a way to say, admitted to something or sort of named a suspect or a lead in a criminal case. You can say that person sang. If they're sort of under pressure from an investigator and they sort of reveal the name of whoever is involved in the crime, they could say they sang. Okay. Small case for needles. There's something going on with this clue that I am not quite seeing. Things left after tearing checks out of checkbooks. Now, this is a clue. Who even uses checks and checkbooks anymore? Those were called stubs. And I remember there used to be like a thing at the back of your checkbook where you could record who each check went to and how much for, and the number of each check, and the number would remain on the stub for you to sort of cross-check that information. Yeah, anyway. West Point in brief. This is I think a naval academy. Maybe it's the U.S. Naval Academy. That would make sense, though I'm not totally sure of that. The first word of 18, 23, 36, 49, or 56 across is 1. So it's a baby, I think, is what we're looking for here. I'll go over that again later. Disengagement due to a conflict of interest. So if you sort of step out or sit out of let's say a trial or a deliberation or a decision of some kind because your participation in that decision would be a conflict of interest, you are said to you recuse yourself from that. So a disengagement in that vein could be a recusal. Blank gin fizz. I think this is slow. Slow I discovered recently. Actually, slow was in yesterday's crossword. I didn't know what it was. I did fill it in properly, but turns out it's a berry. It's like a bluish berry. I don't know that I know what it tastes like, but this would make sense to have a gin fizz with a slow flavoring. Okay. Left hanging between two stages. You could say someone is in limbo if they're left hanging. Small case for needles. What on earth is this? I don't know. Huh. To finish is to end. A praiseful poem is an ode, and then blank de Janeiro. This should be Rio. I really am not, I have no idea what this is. Hopefully this is right. No, okay. So, somewhat embarrassing. I'm gonna have to figure out what... Oh, this should be in Limbo, U.S. Military Academy, West Point. So it wasn't one of the ones that I was unsure about, and I'm gonna have to look up what an E2E is. Am I missing something? Let me know. I don't recognize this pattern of letters even a little bit. So that was one that I wasn't totally clear on. And then the other one was this scat. Scat sort of rings a vague bell, but I feel like I was super into card games, which should surprise no one. Have been, since I was a child, and I feel like I have a wide vocabulary of card game names, and scat isn't really as familiar as I'd like. And I do know, I seem to recall oh, you know what? No, you know what I'm thinking of? There was a 3-player trick-taking game that I learned by an Indian name, which the name just translates to 2, 3, 5, and that refers to the number of tricks that each person has to make. So the dealer, sorry, not the dealer, the person who calls the sort of trump suit has to make 5 tricks. The dealer has to make 2, and the other person has to make 3 out of you all get 10 cards. So that was the trick-taking game that I was thinking of, and I couldn't think of the name, and even if I had thought of the name, it certainly wasn't this. But I wonder in what way or to what extent scat is related to that 3-player trick-taking game, or if it's closer to something like euchre or bridge or hearts. Anyway, so those were the 2. Everything else, I think I was... Once I got it anyway, it all sort of looked pretty familiar to me. So, and then the theme here... we're looking at all different kinds of baby animals, right? A kitten is a baby cat, a joey is a baby kangaroo, a puppy is a baby dog, a calf is a baby cow, and a chick is a baby chicken. And that's our cute little Monday theme. So yeah, and lots of good stuff here. Some more obscure trivia and some fairly accessible stuff. I mean, this too, I'm literally gonna look this up as soon as I'm done. But Odeon was great. I did recognize that in the end, but I couldn't quite get it right away. Yeah, references to cursive and some old some older references like stubs and mirror bevels and things are a little bit I feel like might be a little bit more challenging for younger players. But anyway, that's our Monday puzzle for Monday, June 16th, 2025. Hope you enjoyed that. Give it a like if you did. Leave a comment if you know what an E2E is. Otherwise, I'm going to look it up for myself anyway. And I'll try and get a couple more done this week. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you soon.